This is the concluding lecture of this course. In this course, we looked at what options are, what are the mathematics behind it, and what I want to do is focus on a few points that we learned that you should always bear in mind. And the first point is that options are a mathematical concept. So whenever you look at options from now on, you have to look at the mathematics behind the pricing and how the pricing is affected by the various factors. And those factors are price movement of the stock, the implied volatility of the stock, and the time remaining to expiry. So that's the other key concept in options. All options expire at some point. So every option has a definitive expiry date, and they will all expire at that time. And if an option is out of the money on the day of expiry, then it's going to expire worthless. And if the option is in the money, it's going to retain its intrinsic value. Then we looked at some real-world examples to understand what call options are and put options are. And this is another key aspect that will serve you well if you can continue to remember these examples. So whenever you think of a call option, you think of the real estate example, and you think of the three different scenarios that we played out in that example. And when you think of a put option, you always think of insurance, because insurance is the best example of put options in real life. Then we also looked at various option screens and how these real estate examples translated into real Apple options on the trading platform. Then we looked at risk graphs as well as the option seller's risk profile. Now, the option seller's risk profile is also another key difference between a buyer and a seller. When you deal in stocks, you also have a buyer and a seller. But the profiles of the buyer and a seller in stocks is the same. Although one is a buyer and one is a seller, they have a similar risk and reward profile. Whereas in the options world, that's not the case. An option buyer is very different from an option seller. And you'll always have to remember that. And in later courses, you'll realize that you can actually limit your risks using an option seller's profile and still make it a very viable strategy. Finally, in section 3, we looked at how you can use stocks and options in very creative ways to either create an extra income on stocks that you own. You can also use put options to buy stock that you like at prices that are acceptable to you. And finally, we also looked at how you can use options to hedge your stock portfolio. So these are all very important characteristics of options. If you were a stock investor already, you could use these tactics to combine stocks and options to create a very attractive portfolio. So this is the first part of the theory of options. In the next course, you're going to study what time decay is, what implied volatility is, and what option Greeks are. The next course is also critical to complete the theoretical understanding of options. And even though we'll be looking at the trading platforms and seeing how time decay and how implied volatility actually manifests into option prices, these two courses is an absolute must before you make a single trade. So please take the time for the next course. In course 2, we're going to cover these key concepts, and then from course 3 onwards, it's all live trading, live examples, and as we go on covering new topics and new concepts, we'll be supplementing them with live trading examples. Thank you for taking this course. If you have any questions, please send me an email at info@optiontiger.com.